Let me ask you something. If you retired tomorrow, would your plan actually last? Or would you find yourself in trouble before you even hit 70? Here's why I ask that. I've seen people who look perfectly fine on paper. Good savings, no debt, even a pension. But by the time they get 8 or 10 years into retirement, the cracks start to show. Suddenly, the withdrawal rates are bigger than they expected, the markets didn't behave like they thought, taxes and healthcare costs creep up, and what felt like a solid plan at 60 can start to feel shaky by 70. The good news? There are early warning signs that this might happen. If you spot them now, you can fix them before it's too late. Hi, I'm Scott Beasley, Certified Financial Planner at Gateway Financial Partners. Retirement today isn't just about having a big balance, it's about making sure that balance can actually carry you through 20, 25, sometimes 30 years without running dry. So in this video, I'm going to walk you through 5 signs that your retirement plan might not make it past age 70, and more importantly, what you can do now to avoid it. If you want to see how your plan stacks up, book a call with me using the link in the description below. Sign 1. You don't know your spending number. This is the number one reason retirement plans fail. If I asked you right now, how much does it cost to live your life for 1 year after taxes, everything included? Could you answer that with confidence? Most people can't. They know what their mortgage payment is, they know what their utilities cost, but they forget about irregular spending. Travel, gifts, insurance premiums, medical bills, helping out adult kids. And here's why this matters. When you retire, you're no longer working to catch up when things pop up. If you underestimate your spending even by 10, 15%, those extra withdrawals compound over time, can shorten the life of your savings. I once worked with a couple who thought their expenses were about $80,000 per year. When we tracked every expense for 12 months, it was closer to $105,000. The difference would have drained their portfolio 7 to 8 years earlier than they expected if we hadn't caught it. The fix? Start tracking now. Use your actual numbers to build a plan, not your best guess. Sign 2. You're relying on a single source of income. If you have all your eggs in one basket, you're exposed to risk you can't control. Let's say your entire retirement income depends on your 401k. What happens if there's a market downturn in the first few years of retirement? You're forced to sell investments when they're down, which can permanently damage your portfolio. Or maybe you're relying on Social Security alone. What if benefits don't rise as fast as your cost of living? The retirees who feel the most secure and who actually make it past 70 comfortably are the ones with multiple income streams. Social Security and pensions, investment withdrawals from diversified accounts, a tax-free bucket like a Roth IRA, and sometimes a little part-time income or rental income for flexibility. The variety gives you choices, and choices are what protect you when things don't go as planned. Sign 3. You don't have a plan for taxes. Taxes are one of the biggest surprises for new retirees. Here's what happens. You've saved your whole life in pre-tax accounts like 401k or traditional IRAs. When you retire, you finally start withdrawing, but every dollar you pull out counts as ordinary income. It could bump you into a higher tax bracket, make more of your Social Security taxable, and even increase your Medicare premiums. That's why some people feel like they're bleeding money in retirement even though investments are growing. One couple I worked with thought they were set for life with $1.5 million in their IRA, but after we account for taxes, the real spendable amount was closer to $1 million. That's a huge difference. The fix? Build a strategy early. This might include Roth conversions, strategic withdrawals from taxable and tax-free accounts, and planning around required minimum distributions, RMDs. It's not just how much you saved, it's how much you take out that matters. Sign 4. You haven't planned for healthcare costs. If there's one wild card that wrecks retirement plans more than anything else, it's healthcare. Most people underestimate how much they'll spend in this area. Medicare doesn't cover everything, and there are premiums, deductibles, copays, prescriptions, dental, vision, hearing, and none of that includes long-term care. I've seen retirees spend hundreds of thousands of dollars on healthcare in their 70s and 80s. Without a plan, those costs come out of your portfolio. The fix? Budget for premiums and out-of-pocket expenses. Consider whether a supplemental plan or Medicare Advantage plan makes sense for you. And think ahead about long-term care, whether that's insurance, self-funding, or a hybrid solution. If you don't account for this, it can drain savings far faster than any market downturn. Sign 5. You don't stress test your plan. This one is huge. A plan that works only if everything goes perfectly isn't really a plan, it's a gamble. Ask yourself, what happens if the market drops 20% right after you retire? What happens if inflation stays higher than normal for a decade? What if you live to 95 instead of 85? If your plan hasn't been tested against these scenarios, you won't know how it holds up until it's too late to make changes. The best plans are built with what-if scenarios. For example, we model bad market years early to see how withdrawals hold up. We look at different tax policies. We plan for different lifespans. That way, instead of being surprised, you know exactly how your plan adapts to tough conditions. So here's the bottom line. If any of these 5 signs sound familiar, not knowing what you're spending each year, relying on a single source of income, not having a plan for taxes, ignoring healthcare costs, or never stress testing your plan, you've just been given a warning light on your retirement dashboard. The good news? These are all flexible. The retirees who feel confident in their plan past 70, 80, and 90 aren't the ones who started out perfect. They're the ones who spotted these problems early and made adjustments. Here's why that matters so much. By age 70, you're still young enough to enjoy the freedom you've worked for, but the decisions you make in your 60s can determine whether your plan gives you confidence or keeps you up at night. So let me ask you this. Which one of these 5 signs do you think applies to you right now? Do you need to finally figure out your real spending number? Or are you worried that too much of your income depends on just one account? Or is it taxes and healthcare that feel like a blind spot? And if this video helped you, hit like so this video gets in front of more people planning their retirement. Subscribe to the channel if you want practical, straightforward retirement planning strategies every single week. And if you want someone to look over your plan to see where these 5 warning signs might be hiding, reach out. The link is in the description below. A second set of eyes can save you years of worry. Thanks for watching. Take this time to fix the gaps now, build a plan that lasts, and I'll see you in the next video.